bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well, Fade to Black, how you doing? Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Wednesday, June 21st. 171 days into the new year, just 194 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Wednesday. That's right. Great show tonight, because we have very special guest with us, director and filmmaker Michael Mazzola. That's right, he's here tonight, and we're going to talk about his life's journey. We've got to do just that, and the making of the film Unacknowledged, and some of the other things that he's out there doing right now, trying to change the world. We're going to do all of that tonight. Michael's a great guy, very smart, and talented, so we're going to go through all of that. Tomorrow night is another Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by open lines all night long. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black, Jimmy Church Radio. Just go right now, follow, like, and subscribe on our website. You know what to do. Click on those three little funny little buttons that everybody has to click on. You know what to do. It's on every single website you go to these days. Right there, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You know, we don't have Instagram up there yet. Snapchat. Soon, though, I'm sure we will jump into the rest of social media that everybody else is doing out there. All right, and again, I don't know what's going on, but our messenger service that we use between the studios has crashed, and it's not rebooting. It's just, man, I wouldn't even. Okay, all right, hold on. It's back. Okay, good. There you go. Gotta love live radio. All right, if you're going to hang out with us on Twitter, which you should, at JChurchRadio, use the hashtag F2B. Hashtag F2B, that is the sandbox. There will be tonight, and if you don't believe me, just go over there and hang out. That's all you got to do. You got to do it for one night. If you're not on Twitter, get a Twitter account. Come over and hang out with us during the show. It's amazing to see. And get, of course, TweetDeck. And watch how many tweets happen during this show. It is so cool. The family is amazing. We also have the chat rooms over at KGRA and Spreaker. So whatever your poison is, you want to stay interactive and hang out with the family, just come on over and do it in real time. I try to follow as much of it during the show as I can. And we've started that from the very beginning, by the way. We've always embraced technology. What has happened with the chat rooms and the email and Twitter is all by accident. It's the audience, it's you guys that have built this wonderful world. And Rita said to me the other day, she goes, you're paying too much attention you have guests on the show, but you're hanging out with the Fadernauts too much. And I was like brokenhearted. And she's right. She's 100% right. You guys are spoiled. But come in and hang out with us on Twitter at JChurch Radio or the Spreaker or KGRA chat rooms. Everything is live in front of me. And yes, I pay way too much attention to all of it. Any questions or comments during the show, hashtag F2BQ. And you can also email during the show, which is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. All right, subscribe to our podcast. We have over 670 archive shows. See, Rita just said to me, she said, seriously? She just popped that up, and now you see me, now you don't. Seriously. See, now I'm paying attention, and that's what happens when I pay attention. I get distracted. I get distracted. So I'll stop paying attention. Okay, here we go. Subscribe to our podcast. We have over 670 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. Click on the podcast banner over at our website. Or you can become a member, or you can do both. You can become a member. You can become a Fadernaut. We have a secure area. Very simple. Just go. You can do everything from becoming, we have a free section right there. Become a Fadernaut. Get an email. Get the bunker cam. Right? Okay. On Thursday nights, on Fader Night, you get the bunker cam for free. It's all right there. Or you can go to full-blown Game Changer, where you're going to get a hat and shirt, and you get all the other stuff. Now, when you become a member in our members area, we also have a drawing every single month. Last month, we gave away a coffee bar, courtesy of River Moon Coffee. This month, we are doing a Life Change Tea Care Package. All right, so you want to get in on it, just become a member. That's all you got to do, right? Simple. Go and do it right now in our membership area on the website. And visit all of our sponsors, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, our newest sponsor, New Pharma. That's GNU, New Pharma. And, of course, Studio Dome Speakers. Now, coming up next week, we will be at ECETI Ranch. Now, the time is now short. Okay, this is, we are sitting on the 21st, and we are flying out, I think we're flying out next Thursday, I believe, next Thursday. We're going to be up there all weekend. I'll be speaking on 2 nights. I think I'm going to jump in on James Gilliland's radio show, too, as well. You know, if there's radio going on, I'm going to hijack the show, so we'll be doing that. And so get all of your tickets and info from our website. Click on the banner for ECETI. It's the big green banner that says 2017. Click on that for tickets and info, and we will see everybody up there. Night Vision, Mount Adams, everything that goes on at ECETI. A bunch of great guests are going to be speaking up there. Hollis Polk's going to be there. Casas Macraeus is going to be there. Rumor has it Jason Quitt is going to be there. All right, so come and hang out with us up at ECETI. You can camp. There's hotels. You can do whatever you need to do. Just get up to ECETI for July 4th weekend. It's going to be a great, amazing time. All food, lodging info is over at their site. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, let's get this show cracking. Very excited about tonight's show. Tonight, happy birthday to, are you ready? I'm going to do it right now. Happy birthday to Edward Snowden. Yeah. He's 34. Yeah, I've talked a lot of smack about Edward over the years. My feelings still haven't changed. But his information is more and more relevant every single day. All right, so happy birthday, Edward Snowden. And he's over there in Russia right now, and I'm sure he is having a very cool Russian birthday. Today he's 34. Juliette Lewis today is 44. And then there is Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt today is 38, and he made the list because of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right. Love that movie. Loved them both. I'm sure there's a part 3 coming out. Played Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that first movie probably had the greatest soundtrack. Well, probably top 10 of all time, and that says a lot. OTD, on this day in history, 1975, John Hinckley Jr., who shot President Ronald Reagan and 3 others was found not guilty of attempted murder by reason of insanity. I think he's released too. I think he's out. I think he's at home. Fader fact: a microwave oven. Now this is vetted. This is a fact. This is something that you can tomorrow share with your friends, or you can type it up right now, post it up in Twitter, and look like you're really cool. Okay, all right. You ready? Jim Brewer. Really? Jim Brewer. Happy birthday, Jim Brewer. Yeah, okay. I didn't catch that one today, but happy birthday, Jim Brewer. All right, Fader fact. A microwave oven uses more electricity keeping its digital clock on standby than it does heating your food. And that is a Fader fact. That's trippy. That's trippy. It's a fact. All right, tonight, very special guest right here, director, filmmaker Michael Mazzola is here. We're going to talk about his life's journey, and it's a good one, and the making of Unacknowledged, and we're going to get the backstory with all of that. And tomorrow night's another Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by open lines all night long. All right. If you had the bunker cam, this is the point of the show where I hit my River Moon Coffee promo code F2B blend. I swear. Somebody tweeted last night. I got 2 pounds of Fade to Black blend yesterday, and now I get it. It's true, man. Every time I've ever seen anybody take their first sip of Fade to Black blend, we do it over at the house, parties. Contact in the Desert was great because they had their booth there, and I got to watch everybody go, well, okay, let's go check it out. Let's see what it's all about. And watch their face, that first sip, just watch. They go, I get it. Man, you're a hype man, church, but you're not hyping this stuff enough, man. It's really that good. Okay. All right. Just talking about it makes me want to take another sip, but I won't do that. That's not professional. If you have the bunker cam right before the show tonight, when you become a Fader and you become a member, you get the live video feed. Hey, everybody, how you doing? And so for 5 minutes before the show, you may not know this, but for 5 minutes before the show, I pop in and say hello to everybody and share some secret stuff that you only get when you're a member. Sort of. And so tonight I had mentioned that my sources let's just say this. My sources, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. My sources told me that Gaia's video of the alien mummy, which is not their title. It's called Nazca Uncovered, but I've been calling it the alien mummy video. Overnight got 7 million views. Now, in one day. Now, let me clarify here. Yesterday, they got 3 million views. 3 million. Overnight, they got an additional 4 million views. This morning, they were over 7 million views. 7 million. Is it Bob's birthday? No, it's not. Is it Bob's birthday? Happy birthday, Bob. Seriously? Eating some of Bev's birthday chocolate chip cookies. Oh, man. Happy birthday, Bob. We'll get you something. Happy birthday, Bob. I didn't know. 7 million views in one day. Now, what does that tell you? It tells me that there are a lot of people out there that are interested in this video that are outside of our UFO community. And what I mean by that is, I'm not talking about the 3-letter agencies in Washington. Of course, that's included, but that's only a few hundred people or whatever, small number. But in our UFO community, our community, where everybody knows everybody, okay, it's big, it's cool, but 7 million in one day, right? Now, it has now been exposed to a ton of people, that are showing interest in this. And that's what's most important, that know nothing about UFOs. Yeah, they know if they've seen Transformers and they've seen Independence Day and they've seen alien movies, but they've never watched Ancient Aliens, or they don't know about Coast to Coast. They don't know about Fade to Black, right? That's what I'm talking about. Those people, like your boss at work, right? So this has gotten out there. It's gotten into the mainstream, and it's going to continue to do that. This is only day 2 today. So with that, we need to be very careful. Now, at this point, right now, at this point, this is where our community needs to, and Gaia specifically, needs to be very, very careful. Very careful. You slip and fall on this one, right? You just can't do it. We cannot slip and fall. Jaime Maussan cannot slip and fall again, for sure. But our community in general cannot. And Gaia right now is representing us to the rest of the world. Like Gaia, not like Gaia, that's not the point. Right now, the way that Gaia has got their stuff set up with their stable of hosts over there, they've got some very cool, incredible people. Sean Stone, Linda Moulton Howe, of course, Wilcock, Corey Goods over there. They've just got a very strong lineup over at Gaia. Things are good. But this thing is bigger than all of them combined. How big? 7 million views in 24 hours. That's insanity. And it's going to continue like that for them. Because this is different. Sure, it could be an alien. Yes, 3 fingers, 3 toes. But what it does do for the entire world is it's a game changer. It's exactly what this show is about. It's a game changer. This is a history-changing situation here. Everything gets rewritten. Everything changes. The paradigm shift is immediate. Done. So, why are we cautious? Our community went through the Alien Autopsy, that film. I was literally speaking with a pretty top shelf researcher, top 5, last week. And we were talking about some other stuff. And I brought up, and this is before this broke. This broke yesterday. And I brought up the Alien Autopsy film. And this researcher actually said to me that film was real. Right? And I was like, no, it wasn't. And we started to go toe-to-toe on this. But, okay, so that being said, there are people in this community that still want to say that the Alien Autopsy film is real. It is not. I don't care. It doesn't matter. That's my opinion. But we went through that hoax. Last year, the Roswell slides and what happened, it was just a miserable experience. Not only for the people that were directly involved, and I'm talking about Don Schmidt and the immediate circle. And then you have some that were involved on the outside unintentionally, like Richard Dolan, and he got dragged through the mud. And so did we on this show. And all I ever said about the Roswell slides was, we need to be cautious, man. I remember the Alien Autopsy film. This is just a piece of film. This is not a body. This is not a body. This is a slide. And you're hanging the entirety of everything on a slide. You can't DNA test a slide. You cannot carbon-14 test a slide. You can't do anything with a slide. And even because I had Schmidt and the immediate circle on this show to talk about the leading up and after Mexico City, that I backed up the slides, and I never did. I never did. But it ruined careers. It ruined people. And it's hard for our community to pick up and where we left off and move on. Now we have this incredible video. The video, and I said just a few minutes ago, right before showtime, I posted up in Facebook, I said, it's eye candy. This is amazing. This is fun to look at. Look at what is here. This isn't a slide. This is a body. This is a mummy. This is organic. This is biological. Now, testing is being done, but this is something that we can test, we can touch, we can look at. This is a totally different situation. It came out of the ground somewhere. So we have that archaeological possibilities that are there. The artifacts that were around this, of which we will talk over the next couple of weeks. There's more information coming out on this too. Can't talk about it right now, but we will be. This is a different situation, and we need to proceed with caution. Get excited. I'm excited because if this is what you see in the film, if this is what we think, holy crap, right? This is it. This is it. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know what's going to go further. I don't. Our government's going to get involved. Of course they are. Our colleges and universities and different, if it is what it is, everybody's going to want to test this. Everybody's going to want to talk about this. Everybody's going to, how many teachers and professors around the world are going to be talking about this? They have to. So we need to proceed. If it turns out to be some crazy hoax, and as elaborate as it is, whoever had pulled this off needs a job in Hollywood tomorrow. Somebody's going to pay that guy a lot of money. I just don't know how it can be hoaxed. I don't. This is different from the Roswell slides. This is different from the alien autopsy film. And I wanted to address this. The alien autopsy film was a videotape. And if you remember, Ray Santilli said, well, I've got the film and we've tested the film and the film, but there was no body to test. That's different. You only had the film. It was different. Okay? All right. Yeah, Snopes. Yeah, I saw that. Snopes is jumping in on this too as well. I'll read Snopes later. I don't have time to do this now, but of course, there are right now, every debunker, every skeptic, every website, everybody that is part of that side of the fence is jumping all over this. Of course they are, and they have to, and we need them to do that. Now, the one thing, and going back to the Roswell slides, that was debunked in hours. With the power of the internet, the power of our community, you get all those brains together, and everybody's got their own little specialties, and they were all able to come together and find that software and get that placard and decoded and so forth. Right? Okay. It's the same thing here with this. That's exactly what our community needs to do. My eyes see what they see. It's eye candy. It's amazing. But with the alien autopsy video, that's all that we didn't have a body. We didn't have witnesses to interview. None of that came into play. It was just a hoax purported by Ray Santilli, threw a video together to make money. That's all that was. Okay, there was no evidence. There was nothing there at all. None. Ray Santilli to this day is laughing at our community. Ray Santilli made $50 million in a couple of months and disappeared back into the music industry. You think he wants to come on this show or talk to anybody in the UFO community? Never again. We were used. Okay, this is a different situation. We have a physical body. It's organic, and it's there. It's been carbon dated. All of that is there. So now we will be able to continue the testing. Continue what, the DNA testing is being done right now as we speak. There are about, and I'll say this, I can say this much. There's about 5 or 6 other key situations here outside of the mummy, outside of the body itself, that I had said to my sources, this is too much for me to handle. It's too much. Going that far right now is crazy talk. Because if that stuff is true, if that stuff plays out, plus the mummy, whoa. It's too much. It is literally the flying saucer on the White House lawn. Take me to your leader. It's that extreme. So we have all of this. This time around, we have evidence, and we have evidence to debunk too as well, right? We have that part of it. We can actually debunk this. It's not a piece of film. It's not a videotape. No witnesses. No, this time around, we have all of that stuff. So if we're going to take it apart, we can take it apart. If we need to take it apart, we can. If we need to blow this out of the water, we will do that. Us as a community will not stand for another black eye. We will not. Now, I trust some friends that are involved with this here, that I'm being told the truth. Now, that being said, even I'm not backing up anything. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get my hopes up. What I really want is this to play out as something that cannot be debunked, that it is from 245 AD to 410 AD, that it is a body, that it really does have 3 fingers and 3 toes. It really does. This isn't some reconstruction, something that has been aged, something that has been put together by somebody that's really, really smart. No, I want it to be a body. I want it to be exactly what it's supposed to be, because then we can move on, we can study and figure all of this out. That's my take. All right. Now, I want to remind everybody that we are going to take things a step further, because on Monday or this Friday night, I'm going to have Jay Widener on from Gaia over with me on Coast to Coast. He's going to do the first segment with me before David Wilcock. And I've got a list of questions. And I will say this now, again, publicly. I told Jay, I'm not leaking you any questions, brah. And they're all going to be the real ones. He said, bring it. I'm ready. So that's what's going to happen on Friday night. We couldn't do it tonight or tomorrow. So we're going to do that. But then on Monday, Jay's going to be here on Fade to Black for a full 2-hour show. And I'm going to take this thing apart. Okay? This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with director and filmmaker Michael Mazzola. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Yeah, man. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Wednesday night. What a crazy 24 hours it's been in our community. Just exciting beyond words. And then after everything that we've done on the show this week, just amazing stuff in conversation. Tonight, our guest is Michael Mazzola. He is an award-winning filmmaker who started making documentaries in middle school. He became interested in UFOs and conspiracies while studying film at NYU and went on to direct Dr. Steven Greer's worldwide hit, Unacknowledged, which is an exposé of the deep state. He's also an entrepreneur. He's developing technologies that defy the establishment paradigm and in an effort to bring in an awareness of consciousness and emerging physics to the world through consumer technology. Tonight, we're going to discuss his life's journey, how he developed and directed the film Unacknowledged, and, of course, the movement towards disclosure. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black, I'm excited, Michael Mazzola. Michael, good evening, my friend.
Hey, Jimmy. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Are you wearing your Fade to Black hat right now?
I'm not, because I finally got a haircut.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Welcome to the show, Michael. And before we kick things off, you get the first-time guest disclaimer. I know you've been waiting for this, so let's do it. It's just you and me sitting on my couch, talking as friends. Wherever the conversation starts, it starts. Wherever it ends, it ends. But we're going to end as friends. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So, you know what? I don't even know where to start with you because, well, first off, we're friends, okay? So we have that element of things, and we have a mutual of respect for each other. Okay, all right, cool, great. But it's a tough world out there. And for you, getting into the world of ufology, I need to ask you this. Did you think it was going to be what it turned out to be? This community, this world, this environment. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
It's beyond crazy. And no, it's nothing like what I expected. I thought I was part of this community already. But when I started working with Dr. Greer and I really got into the trenches, and saw it sort of from his perspective, it completely blew my mind. And I got a little bit more than I bargained for, but I have no regrets.
Well, yeah, you jumped in with both feet for sure, and the world out there when it comes to ufology, you have so many different conflicting, because we just don't know, right? We don't really know. We're waiting for that. But there are so many conflicting views, and certainly Dr. Greer has his side of things, and there are 1,000 other authors and researchers out there that are alive today that are writing books and have their experiences that all have their views. And you pull up 1,000 of them, you're going to have 1,000 different stories, takes, theories, and experiences. And they do conflict. And when you start to see that, it's not what you thought the world was it?
Not at all. Everybody is so certain with the rightness of their position, and it's not that they're all wrong. It's that they're all right in their own way.
Right.
And I'm probably more confused now than I was a year ago. In some ways, but it's
no.
I try to look at where everyone overlaps,
right?
And I'm confident in those overlaps, but there's so much gray in this area. It can be overwhelming.
When you start to see those overlaps and you're compiling information, certainly you have. Look through all of Greer's evidence and documents and video testimony. You had to pour through all of that for Unacknowledged. We'll get to that in a bit. But when you start to collect all of this information and you start to see the overlaps, what are those similarities that make you go, where you start to see some of these things that are consistent?
Well, they are all the things that are in Unacknowledged. And not to shamelessly plug the film, but the criteria for the movie from day one was we're not going to put anything in here that we can't back up with multiple witnesses, a document, a photograph, a video, and it's actually choosing the least controversial aspects of this field and putting out the stuff that we can say with pretty much complete certainty is the case. And so, as you can imagine, there was a lot of stuff that we wanted to put in the film and couldn't. A lot of it was for, time constraint reasons. We also didn't want to overwhelm people. But also, Dr. Greer made it very clear from day one that we're just putting out things that we can absolutely corroborate from multiple sources. So I think that the stuff that we cover in the film is a good summary of that overlap. Now, obviously, it's not everything, but it's a decent foundation. And a lot of people, or some people, have said, it feels kind of basic. Well, that's because that was sort of the point. We are revisiting the basics and what we know to be true and trying to lay a foundation for people who are sort of uninitiated in this field. I've been calling this, disclosure potty training. It wasn't necessarily made for the Fadernauts out there or the diehard, fans of Dr. Greer or other people. It was more for their friends, their coworkers, their parents, their siblings, as something you can show to them and give them, a good foundation in this stuff.
Well, yeah, certainly. I do remember after the premiere, and we were at the after party, and Rita and I were out front, and you and Chris had come up to me and said, "Okay, so Jimmy, what'd you think?" And I was honest, and I said, "Well, it's nothing groundbreaking. There was nothing. It was done for the rest of the world. It wasn't done for me, right? That's not. It is for somebody that has no clue about secret black programs, unacknowledged programs, or government interference or payoffs or black it's for them that have no idea that this world even exists at all, right? And they can go to UFO 101, Conspiracy 101, watch this film and come away with the evidence that they need to go and maybe investigate further. That's who this film is, and that was my honest assessment. I didn't know if I was going to offend you. Chris is one of the producers on the film and a great guy. But I that was my honest assessment, and I was glad that you guys were happy that was my take. And I was like, wow, okay.
Oh, I was relieved, man, because, we made this as a tool for people like you to go out and have something to show to people. It's so hard to break the ice on this subject with people who don't already get it. You and I are so deep into this stuff. We're debating the fine nuances,
right?
But but most people, you say aliens, they give you a look,
right?
And I think many of us live in this bubble and don't even realize it until you encounter someone outside of that bubble, and then you realize just how far down the rabbit hole you've gone without even realizing it. So this was made for your audience, but it was made as a tool for them to break the ice with other people. And so I was actually super relieved when when that was your takeaway. I was like, okay, good, because folks going in expecting this to be something completely new, and there are a couple things in there that are pretty explosive that some folks may not have seen before, or at least may not have seen witnesses admit to, like the payoffs. We have a guy named Richard Doty in there who talks about dropping off bags of cash to pay off, journalists in the mainstream media. And, that's something that we all sort of knew was going on, but maybe hadn't heard described from someone who had been involved in doing it. So, and he also confirms in a very roundabout way the existence of Project Bluebeam, the false flag alien invasion agenda.
Right.
So there are some fun nuggets in there for the diehard fans, but this was really more of a tool for this community to go out and evangelize with, for lack of a better word.
I would love to have Doty show up at the bunker with a bag of cash, because it wouldn't end the way that he would think. That would be one ugly scene.
Well, I'd like to think that you would take the cash and then carry on as usual.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Nice one, Michael. But oh man. So anyway, NYU. My take on NYU. Great school, one of the best, no doubt about it. But pretty stuffy. Right? Pretty stuffy. A lot of successful families send their kids there, and it's not a cheap school to go to, right? But if you are going to be a UFO cat at NYU, I would think that you would be outside of the circles of what is considered normal there. Did you talk to people about UFOs when you were attending NYU?
Honestly, no. I maybe had two friends at NYU. NYU was probably the worst experience of my life. And
How so? Why?
Well, the stuffiness, for one,
right? And
I think you're being very generous by using that term,
right?
And honestly, it was I was surrounded by extreme narcissism,
yes,
and materialism,
yes,
and a sense of entitlement that I had never been exposed to.
Are you telling me that your dad is not a steel magnate with old school money from Connecticut?
I wish. No, he was a chef and ran a mom and pop restaurant,
right?
Which I had to work at starting at a very young age. Total slave labor, but it was a good experience, and it taught me the value of hard work. You throw out a little cliche, but it's true. And so I was thrown into this environment of just extreme entitlement, and I did not did not adapt very well. So
spring break.
I don't encourage anyone to go there. I don't encourage anyone to go to film school. Honestly, I think film school in general is a waste of time. For the amount of money that I went into debt to go through that 4-year program, I could have made 6 feature films. But instead, I gave all that money to NYU, and I graduated with no feature films and had to start from scratch.
Right. Well, you do have an NYU credential that's hard to get, and that you get a certain amount of street cred out of that. No, but let me ask you.
Actually, I don't. I never picked up my diploma. And no one's ever asked me for it. So I actually don't even have it. I don't even have the piece of paper.
So tell me the truth, man. This isn't a UFO question, but did somebody say something like in the background, like Muffy and I are going to go to Monte Carlo for spring break. You want to go with us? I mean, was it like that?
Oh, yes, except for the part with do you want to go with us? It was more
right.
We're going to Monte Carlo. Where are you going?
Right. Oh man, that would just drive me nuts.
It was brutal.
Yeah,
it was brutal, man. So
okay. So why did you pick up on UFOs though while you were going to school at NYU? What happened?
I had a friend whose dad worked in. I had a coworker friend. No, I didn't have any friends who were actually students, but I had various jobs while I was in school, and one of my coworkers was his dad had worked in secret programs and had basically tipped him off to what was going on with this. And so he was the one who started to red pill me on this stuff, and I absolutely couldn't believe it. So I started consuming anything I can find online. And it's funny because I come from this extreme skeptical point of view. I was raised Catholic, and it kind of messed me up, honestly. And so, of course, I became a hardcore atheist and a professional skeptic. I was a member of the Skeptic Society, and they always say extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I love to debate with people on religion, on UFOs, on psi research, psychic research and stuff like that, the paranormal. And I got a real kick out of shooting people down. I was actually really unpleasant, and I was also a real smartass. And so I finally started to look at the arguments against my position, mostly because I wanted to be able to defeat any argument I came up against. And the moment I looked at the evidence, I realized that extraordinary evidence that skeptics are always, complaining about, it's all there. And it's been there for decades. And all of my assumptions about reality completely collapsed. And I went back to my skeptic friends. I said, guys, look at all this. Look at Steven Greer's stuff. Look at Dean Radin's stuff. The research he has done at the Institute of Noetic Science for decades. Here it is. Here's the extraordinary evidence. And they wouldn't even look at it. They just dismissed it. And that's when I realized that these so-called skeptics aren't really skeptics, but they're just professional debunkers, and cynical jerks.
Yeah. Professional debaters, where they and I get it because I'm that way too. You are that way. I you know what? It doesn't matter to me what a really good conversation is, but just take the opposite side of whatever you're talking about and enjoy yourself and try to get through it. The art of the argument is fun. And I really do. But what I have learned about that, when it comes to skeptics, they have nothing to back up with anything. They just want to use the word no. Right? That's their argument.
100%. They're completely driven by ego, and they don't even realize that they're operating off of a huge group of unexamined assumptions, and they can point out the flaws in logic of the people they're debating. but they have absolutely no self-awareness when it comes to making assumptions that aren't based on any kind of evidence, logic, or introspection or examination. It was really embarrassing for me when I woke up and I stepped back and I saw what I was doing, and I said, "Wow, I'm no better than the Vatican 400 years ago." And here I am persecuting people who are sticking their necks out, talking about this weird stuff. And that's when I felt a moral obligation. I felt that if I had any kind of intellectual integrity, I would not ignore this. I would continue to investigate, and I would speak my mind about it. And I've never cared what anyone's thought about me. And so I've always been pretty unapologetic and also pretty unpopular as a result. But I don't care, because I have I've always had a small group of friends who think the same way. Not that I want some kind of echo chamber, but they don't mind being challenged, and I think that's a really important quality. And like you said, if people would just look at the arguments against their own position, we could have a real dialogue, whether it's about UFOs, consciousness, religion, or God help us, politics.
Well, have you ever met Michael Shermer?
I have not, but I was such a big fan of his. But now I think he's just an unbelievable hypocrite.
Yeah,
and I can't figure out if he's just the most religious person I've ever seen, his religion being material reductionism or materialism,
yes,
whatever word you want to use,
right, or
if he's just on someone's payroll. But I know he had a really profound mystical experience. I don't want to mess up the story, but I believe he was at the funeral, or he'd come back from the funeral of I think it was his father-in-law. And they had this music box, or this old radio that his father-in-law had given his wife, and suddenly it turned on, and this thing never worked, but it turned on and it started playing the dad's favorite song, and Michael Shermer in that moment just started questioning his reality, and for a moment there it seemed like he was going to be open to this stuff, but he's completely backpedaled and done some mental gymnastics to get out of it.
Yeah,
but there was a glimmer of hope there, and I hope I didn't mess up the story.
I've heard the story too, and you're spot on with that. And this is my point, even with somebody like Michael, that if he was standing next to me and both of us saw something in the sky, whatever, contact in the desert or these other things that I've seen. If he witnessed what I witnessed, he would still be in denial. And that's the truth, and he would pull the skeptical position of, well, it's a satellite, quit questioning, no. And then he would choose to attack me and my personality and who I am, rather than what is going on up there in the sky, and that's what a skeptic does. If Michael was with you and saw something in the sky right there, and you guys are both members of the Skeptic Society, what is he going to say to you? He can't say anything.
He can't say anything. But if we were standing there and we both saw something in the sky, I also would maintain a skeptical position. I think that, I think that both sides have gone to such an extreme where the skeptics aren't really skeptics. They're cynics.
Right.
And a lot of the people who are advocates and believers, they could use a healthy dose of skepticism. And so I liked, not to pat myself on the back, because I'm a deeply flawed person. I make mistakes constantly, but I would like to think of myself as a true skeptic. And it takes a lot to convince me. And this is why, for example, in the movie, we've gotten some, mostly positive feedback, but plenty of negative feedback. And one of the things we hear a lot is, well, it's a lot of old UFO footage. It's a lot of old stuff. And, there's so much great new stuff. Why not put that in there? And the reason for that is that, new stuff can be faked, and it's really hard to verify, the provenance and authenticity of this stuff. So we stuck with footage that we thought was good footage. It's a little bit older, it's a little grainy, but we can say with extreme confidence that it's authentic. And I appreciate that. I like that about Dr. Greer. People don't necessarily realize how fastidious he is when it comes to the research. It was a very challenging process going through the research on this film, because he wanted to make sure that we did not leave ourselves exposed for easy criticism by putting in something that was obviously debunked.
We're going to head towards a break right here. And you can answer this quickly. As a young man at NYU before you graduated, had you seen anything strange in the sky that you couldn't explain?
Nothing. I actually never saw a UFO until I met Dr. Greer and started making this film. I've never seen a ghost. I've never had an out-of-body experience. I've never had any kind of supernatural encounter of any kind. I've arrived at this position purely through following the evidence and through logic, and again, just trying to be a true open-minded skeptic and being willing to follow the evidence.
Now, what about your parents? We've got 60 seconds. What about your parents? They know what you're doing now. Are they part of our community, or do they think you're tripping?
Oh, they are now. They thought I was tripping at first. They thought it was really funny, but they were very supportive. They've always been extremely supportive of anything I do. But now their minds have been blown. And you should have seen the look on my mom's face when I screened the film for her for the first time. And you can see that I just rocked her world, which made me very happy.
Well, the film did its job then, right? The film did exactly what it was supposed to do. All right, let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola. Yes, he is filmmaker, director, directed Unacknowledged. We're going to dive into the film and some other stuff right after the break, but I do want to know what decisions were made about what and what did not make it into the film, because he had thousands of hours of footage. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola, director, filmmaker, directed Unacknowledged. We're going to talk about that in just a second. This portion of the show is brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. It's dark, complex, and smoky. Just go to the River Moon Coffee banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code F2B blend, and you will get 15% off of your order. All right, Michael, one of the things that I thought was going to be in the film, but wasn't, was some footage of Dr. Greer's CE5 stuff, which I've seen a lot of it. I've seen some exclusive stuff, and it's pretty amazing. I've had my own sightings like that, night vision and so forth. But you made a decision not to do that. Why?
Well, it actually wasn't my decision. It was Dr. Greer's decision from the very beginning, and the reason was that we, if we're talking about people who are totally new to this subject, and are quite skeptical, leading with, we're going to sit down and meditate and make contact. It's a hard pill to swallow. So. And honestly, I loved Sirius. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was brilliant. It was so well put together, and the production value was incredible. It was a tremendous film. I had contributed to it. I was at the premiere. But if I had a criticism of it, it was that not 20 minutes into the film, we were discussing CE5. And I felt that it was going to alienate no pun intended, folks who were new to the subject. And when I took Sirius and I was showing it to my friends and I was trying to wake them up to the subject matter, that's where they tuned out. It was too much for them. And so when I first connected with Dr. Greer, I was delighted to hear that his vision for this film was, as he would put it, just the nuts and bolts, just the witnesses, the documents, the photos and videos, and only witnesses with strong credentials. There's no shortage of average people who have had absolutely incredible experiences, but we really wanted to limit it in this film to people with those credentials, and that's because most people will defer to authority when it comes to deciding if something is real or not. So we really wanted to push the credentials, and we also didn't want to scare people off by introducing a conversation about the nature of consciousness, which can be its own film and I can't say too much, but it may be its own film, is all that I'll say.
Well, which would make a lot of sense because he's got a ton of footage. But the other side of it for me, when you're talking about, providence and the ability to fake stuff today, well, if it's his own footage, then you can stand by the footage as not being faked. And some of it is pretty amazing stuff that I think the world should see. They don't know that this stuff is going on in the skies every single night.
Right. Well, actually, the truth is that many of the clips in Unacknowledged are CE5 clips. It's footage, either photographs or video that was taken during these CE5 expeditions, where they went out, they did the contact protocols, and these beings showed up. But we did not provide that context for this film because, again, we were targeting the average guy on the street, and there is a learning curve with this stuff. So I actually completely supported Dr. Greer's decision to exclude a conversation about the science of consciousness, because you really can't get into CE5 without getting into a very complex discussion about the nature of our minds and how we are all deeply interconnected on a quantum level with everything around us, and not just on our planet, but throughout the universe and other beings throughout the universe. And, again, it's disclosure potty training. It's one step at a time. So we were very much in alignment on that.
How do you think having the support of, the Orchard and Sony, the majorest of the major, right, Hollywood film companies and production companies here in Los Angeles, in the world, behind a project like this, does it allow you to get a little bit cocky in the way that you are speaking about these subjects because you're propped up and supported through that media machine?
Well, I don't know about cocky, but it's definitely incredibly, I'd say it's actually incredibly humbling to have, not to throw out a platitude, but I'm really just pinching myself that they got behind this film. There's a wonderful guy at the Orchard who's, they're all wonderful, but one in particular, Jim Martin, who's an executive over there, who's been doing his own contact events and recording UFO footage on his own for a long time, and was a fan of Dr. Greer's, and they reached out to us based on the success of Sirius, and wanted to do this film, and the resources they've brought to the table. I mean, I this has to be, the most successful UFO film of all time. In terms of just the eyeballs that it's reached.
Right.
And Dr. Greer hinted at this, and I can't divulge it, unfortunately, because we're under non-disclosure, but there is something that's going to happen later this summer that's going to make sure that this film reaches tens of millions of people. And it's all thanks to the guys at the Orchard. So we were really lucky that the guys there were into this stuff, because otherwise this never would have happened. And honestly, we were really nervous when they came to us, because we thought, wow, Sony, it's a big scary company, and we know how and we talk about in the film, how the major media companies are so infiltrated. So we were actually very, very cautious, and it took a long time to get comfortable. But it's been an absolutely incredible experience, and I absolutely love these guys, and they're absolutely killing it right now with getting the film out there.
How about you?
It's been great.
How about you? Have you gone on a CE5 get-together with Dr. Greer?
So I've only done it, I did it at Contact in the Desert, which was a large group, and we did see a couple things, and it was very, very cool. But I've also had the unique privilege of sitting with him, just the two of us, in his backyard in Virginia. He's got this gorgeous farm in Virginia, and looking through his binoculars and talking about the universe and It's I got to see a side of Steve that a lot of people don't get to see. Looking up at the stars with this sense of awe and wonder. It's really beautiful, and so I did that with him.
What did you see? Well, did you see anything in Virginia?
I did. I saw it through binoculars.
What happened?
I saw this giant disc zoom across the sky and then make a 90-degree turn and then disappear. And it was the first UFO I've ever seen. It was absolutely incredible. So
wait. Slow down there, Michael. Okay. I want to know, what did the disc, when you say disc, you saw something that looked like a disc as opposed to a ball of light or something like I've seen. You're saying that you saw a disc. What did you see?
This was a disc. This was a classic metallic flying saucer.
Shut up.
And I think I was looking at in the direction of Venus at the time. I was trying to find Venus, and all of a sudden I saw this giant disc, and I tracked it across the sky. And I was I was just in shock. I didn't quite process what it was until it made a very sharp turn, and then it disappeared in a snap. And I looked at Dr. Greer, and he just laughed, and that was it. We didn't even discuss it. It was just a really wonderful, magical experience. And
okay,
but
wait.
Yep.
I'm not going to let you get away that easy. That's a pretty life-changing experience, man. That's the classical definition of epiphany at that point, right? I mean,
well, you would think so, but of course, 2 minutes later, cognitive dissonance kicks in, and it tends to lose its impact. But no, it was definitely the confirmation that I was looking for, because, like I said, I'm here because I've been following the clues and approaching this from examining the evidence and using logic. And it's not. I've actually been disappointed, and my friends are probably sick of hearing me complain that I don't speak to ETs or to orbs.
Right.
I don't have out of body experiences.
Right.
I'm not. I don't consider myself a contactee. And but everyone around me pretty much fall into that category.
Well, so, let me be Michael Shermer for a second, okay? All right.
Go for it.
Now I'm going to be Michael Shermer. What you saw, Michael, was a satellite.
A satellite, okay. A satellite that makes a 90-degree turn, okay. Here's the thing. I wouldn't even try to argue with Michael Shermer, because the classic sort of classic out for the skeptics is that witness testimony isn't worth anything. So, which I completely disagree with. We've sent people to the electric chair based on witness testimony, and which perhaps we shouldn't do. But when you have, hundreds of people who are intelligent and with incredible credentials, like Edgar Mitchell and Buzz Aldrin, men who have been in space, and just dozens and dozens of high-ranking military personnel who have absolutely nothing to gain by sharing their experiences, who get nothing but ridicule and threats against their life. And by the way, these are people who we have trusted to handle nuclear weapons. They're perfectly competent when it comes to that. But the moment they open their mouth about a UFO, well, they're insane or they're lying. So, I wouldn't, if I was standing next to Michael Shermer and he was shooting down my experience, I would let him do it. It's not an argument you can win. There's no amount of data that you can put in front of these people that's going to convince them. It has nothing to do with the evidence. They say that it's about the evidence, but they're completely full of crap when they say that. And you can see it for yourself. There's absolutely an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the evidence. And these guys are dismissing it without examination, or they'll poke a hole in a couple things and then throw everything out based on, undermining a couple pieces of evidence. And it's because they have absolutely no interest in being persuaded. They are married to their assumptions about reality, and they don't want this to be true. And this is a key psychological insight that I think too many people forget. Whether you're talking about UFOs, the ET cover-up, or talking about psychic research, or spirituality, these cynics, they're not sitting there and saying, well, I wish this was true, I just haven't seen the evidence. I haven't been persuaded yet. Right. They desperately do not want this to be true.
It's the one thing. It's the one thing, Michael. When I hear these arguments and debates go on, and they happen often enough, it just gets my blood boiling because it's such a simple thing to do. And most honest scientists out there or researchers will always back up and go, well, you know what? Maybe. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's look at the evidence, and it'd be cool. I'm not buying into it at this point. You know what I mean? It's a whole different frame of mind where the cynics and the skeptics will not go there. And it just makes my blood boil. And you know what? And maybe down in their very core, in their very belief, in their heart, they do want to believe, right?
Well, some of them, yes. But, there's a lot of things going on here at once. Number one, a lot of these guys have built their careers, whether they are, advocates for skepticism like Michael Shermer, or if they are scientists or engineers who are operating in a certain paradigm. If they were to go there and really permit this to be real and look at and truly, see the data, then that means that they would have to accept that everything they've premised their careers upon has been a lie.
Right.
And so you've got a lot of ego involved for that reason. You've also got a tremendous amount of corruption, and then you can bring in ridicule as well. Steve makes the point. I think he's absolutely right that even more than the threat of assassination, just ridicule has been, incredibly effective at keeping people quiet. And, there are, it's this incredible culture that's been built around this. Steve tells the story, and I don't mean to parrot so much from him, but he's taught me so much. And I've got to hear his stories so many times. I've gotten good at telling them. His sister-in-law is the editor, or was the editor of the Boston Globe, and she said, "You can put a dead alien on my desk, and we would not report it. This is the Boston Globe. We're a blue chip paper."
Right.
So the cognitive dissonance runs deep, but it has nothing, in my personal opinion, it has nothing to do with a lack of convincing evidence. The evidence is there. There's many kinds of evidence, from, high-ranking witness testimony, documents. I tell these cynics, I say, go on the FBI and CIA websites. They have quietly disclosed tens of thousands of documents that are on their websites describing the ET presence. It's already been admitted to, but there's been no press coverage. Jimmy, do you think that anybody has taken my suggestion and gone on the FBI or CIA websites? They just roll their eyes.
Right.
So it's not a battle that we're going to win with evidence. We have to start getting confident about talking about this, and maybe even adopt an air of not arrogance, but cockiness, like you said.
Right.
And said, "Oh, really? You don't believe in aliens? Where have you been?" And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've become a little bit dismissive of people who don't believe, not because I'm arrogant. It's actually hard for me to do it, but because I think that that's where this culture needs to go. We need to stop being so defensive and apologetic and saying, well, there's this document you can look at. And, Edgar Mitchell said it hasn't worked.
Right. It's
not working.
Right.
And I think that we just have to take control of the culture and start making people feel stupid for not getting on the bandwagon. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm throwing this out there as a suggestion. And honestly, like I said, it's hard for me to adopt this air of dismissiveness with people. But I feel like we got to try something new. What do you think?
Well, yeah, my take is exactly that. I mean, I made up my mind a while ago that I just don't care. I really don't care about the critics. I don't care about negativity. I don't care about skeptics. I don't care about debunkers. It's not going to change my mind. It's not. So I have taken that tack. I could go right, I could go left. I chose to tack left. And I am just going to believe in what I have seen and what I've experienced. And therefore, I know that the world is not what it seems to be as presented to us by those that think that they are in control. And that is my overall perspective. And knowing that and believing that, Michael, it has relieved me of the pressures of negativity and criticism and trying to fight the system. You're not going to win. You're simply not going to win. If you don't believe, that's your fault, because I have seen things, man, and I can't explain it. I can't. And to that end, and I want to pick this up after the break. To that end, this is what's really strange. You are working with some pretty amazing technologies. We'll talk about that part after the break. But leading into that is this. If I see something strange in the sky, right, or it takes off from Earth, and I watch it fly up, and it's some crazy craft, and it flies off into the stars, I have a choice here to make. Either it's ET, right, or it's us using some technology that the government is not sharing with me personally. I don't have a car that can fly to the moon, right? They're not sharing this technology with me. Is the government right now in possession of technology that could free us all of the burdens of life?
Oh my goodness, of course. They're sitting on technology that would have us all living like immortal billionaires. And that's really why I care about the ET subject. You cannot understand UFOs, truly understand it, without understanding transdimensional physics, zero-point energy, and the science of consciousness. And for those three things to come into the mainstream, I personally believe that it's going to be UFO disclosure that does that. And, if we're talking about, building a culture in this community that's confident about the rightness of our position, I think we can take heart that we are on the winning side. We've been hearing for years, this is the year, that there's going to be an official announcement, and it never happens. But I am seeing things happen right now that are absolutely blowing my mind. A year ago, I said the term deep state, no one knows what you're talking about. Now they're talking about the deep state on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News.
Right.
You have Rob Bigelow of Bigelow Aerospace, who went on 60 Minutes. I'm sure you saw this.
Absolutely.
And said, yep, there's an ET presence. The government's covering it up. And you know what? I don't care if you think I'm crazy, because I know I'm right. So I'm feeling more and more confident just saying, yeah, this is what it is. And, if you don't believe, you better start believing, because you're in for quite a wake-up call.
Why would they keep it from us? There's 100 different reasons, but why do you think they would keep that technology from us?
Well, see, this is what Dr. Greer and the Disclosure Project, I think, has done such an incredible job of articulating that it's not just, oh, people will panic. That was a reason a long time ago, because it would disrupt fundamentalist religion. But really, it's about the technologies that would completely obliterate the extremely oppressive macroeconomic system that we are all living under. And this is the takeaway that I hope people get from the film. And I don't know how great of a job we did with it. But we tried to give it as much time and clarity as possible. That, let's talk about free energy for just a second. Talk about free energy technology. A UFO isn't filling up with Exxon gasoline and jetting across the universe.
Nope.
All right. These machines are pulling energy out of the fabric of space-time. And it's unlimited, and it's clean, and it's available to all of us, and it's been available to us since Tesla. And it's still being covered up. I mean, you have documents from 100 years ago, way before Roswell, talking about these energy systems that are still classified top secret. And free energy, people are like, well, that's great, wouldn't have to fill up my car, or I would have a low energy bill. They're missing the point. 99% of the cost of making anything, whether it's a cell phone or growing a piece of fruit or building a skyscraper, 99% of the cost of anything is the energy that went into sourcing the raw materials out of the ground, shipping it, processing it, shipping it again, assembling it in factories, and on and on and on and on. When you bring the price of energy to zero, you're talking about bringing the cost of manufacturing and agriculture to zero. I live in California. Water should be the number one export of California. And instead, we have a drought. We've got the Pacific Ocean sitting there. Why aren't we doing desalination and turning all of this dry land into fertile organic farmland and exporting water to the western United States? Well, it's because desalination is too expensive, because the energy is too expensive. People don't realize, because it's not obvious, how transformational zero-point energy would be. You're talking about endless abundance for everyone on this planet. And the energy is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the secret technologies that have been suppressed. Because you've got a handful of people, call them whatever you want, the Cabal, the Illuminati, Majestic 12, whatever. You got a handful of oligarchs who are full-blown fascists and don't want to lose their grip on this planet.
We're going to take a break right here. Well said, Michael. Well said. I might have to steal some of that for the future. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola, filmmaker, director of the film Unacknowledged. We'll pick up everything when we come back. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
So I get out of the shower this morning. I'm looking in the mirror, and not to brag, but my beach body is coming back. I'm not fearing shorts and bathing suits this summer. And thanks to nature'syouth.com, I'm here to help you too. The anti-aging experts, Nature's Youth RSF, they've developed an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports my body to naturally increase HGH levels without synthetic hormones. You see, HGH, or human growth hormone, it's produced by the pituitary gland, and it's essential for growth and regeneration of my cells and tissues. Elevated HGH levels can contribute to not only increasing my energy, improving my libido, and reducing my body fat, but overall improving my exercise capacity. Now, just by watching what I eat, doing a little exercise, and taking my daily dose of Nature's Youth RSF, I'm in a swimsuit, and I'm happy to be there. My beach body is back. I want you to get yours. Join me today and look better and less with help from Nature's Youth. It's easy. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. And bring on the sunshine.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. There's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Man, I could listen to that track all night long. Maybe we should. Doug Aldrich. Flavo Phrase. All right, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola. He is a filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker, and director of Dr. Greer's new film, Unacknowledged. And we started to talk, Michael, about free energy and that technology. I want to spend some time on that. You are certainly working with this now. Tell us about some of the projects you're working on.
Well, I don't want to give the impression that I'm sitting on some free energy technology, because I'm definitely not. But I'm definitely helping. Trying to help with some advocacy groups that have been working thanklessly and tirelessly to bring this out safely. And I got such a crash course in this during the making of this film, because we were really hoping that we would be able to feature one of these working devices in the movie to show people that it's legit, it's ready to go, but it's been ruthlessly suppressed up to this point. And we did spend some time and a lot of money vetting devices. And we kept coming up against the same problems, which is that, someone thinks they have a device, but they really don't. They've just made a mistake. Or they are a complete fraud. Or my favorite, it would be someone who does have a working device, but they are so stuck in the old paradigm of bringing something to market, and they don't understand the unique risks involved in this field. and they were not receptive to, Dr. Greer and others trying to explain to them that this isn't like, inventing a widget or an app and you just patent it and you get some investment and you roll it out. You're number one, you're talking about technology like we touched on before the break that's going to disrupt every aspect of life on Earth and seriously cut into, if not completely abolish, it would eventually abolish, a $300 trillion industry. And every government and mafia and corporation that depends on these old energy systems and this old infrastructure. So there are plenty of people out there who would have no problem just putting a bullet in your head or seizing your technology or both. And it's what we've seen over and over and over again with inventors who've created these technologies. And it gets slapped with a national security order. The men in black suits come in and they say, this is a threat to national security, and they take it. And you're lucky if you get out alive. Many have been assassinated. And Dr. Greer, the next time he's on, you should ask him about some of these stories. He's been, he's seen firsthand this happen and tried to help people avert death. And people just they don't listen, or they listen when it's too late, and it's very, very sad. So we through the course of making this film and trying to identify a working device that we could feature, our criteria was, it had to be over unity, meaning it was, it was tapping into the 0-point field and putting out more energy than it takes in, and it had to be open source. And that's really where we came up against a wall, because the old business paradigm, I guess it's still the current business paradigm, is when you have something that's unique and disruptive, you put a patent on it, and the idea that you're going to invent a 0-point energy device and patent it and make trillions of dollars, retrofitting the entire planet with this device is, I have to agree with Dr. Greer that it's kind of a naive position, because number one, every force on the planet is going to try to stop you, and they have endless resources to do so. But number two, if you're truly bringing out 0-point energy, we have to move into a new economic system. We have to assess a new way of placing value on something. Because right now we put a price on something based on what? The cost of making it plus profit. Well, that cost is 99% energy. So how do we evaluate value in a post-free energy society? It's a tricky question. So if you're the guy who's invented this and you've put a patent on it, and now you're making trillions of dollars, well, how valuable are your trillions of dollars in a world where you have endless abundance for everyone?
Right.
So there's not an obvious answer to it. But this is where I feel, these guys who, you get these brilliant guys, but they get in their own way. And the priority needs to be, getting it out there, massively disclosing it to millions of people the moment you have a legitimate device. And Dr. Greer talks about this being your strategic security. You could have tactical security, which is, your traditional stuff, encryption, having a secure location, what you normally would think of when it comes to security. But the strategic security is what has kept Dr. Greer alive, which is having millions of eyeballs watching what you're doing. When you've got a fan base that wants to see you succeed, it's really hard for the men in black suits to come in and shut you down.
Well, check this out. I'm holding it in my hand right here. I have free energy right now for the world in my hand. Right now. And I've talked about this before, but it is so elementarily simple, it's ridiculous. Okay? Now, this is what it is. It's called an automatic watch. Now, this automatic watch, I'm a big watch collector, right? And I only have automatic watches. I'm holding it up to the video cameras now. This is an automatic watch. This is a nice watch, right? But this automatic watch does not have a battery in it. It's purely mechanical. And now you can wind it. And if you wind it, with the winder on the side, it'll run. But also, if you just spin it in your hand or wear it, and while you wear it all day long, the movement of your hand winds the watch. There's a weight in the back that works off of gravity, and that I'm holding this up to the camera, and that weight, as it moves, winds the watch, so you don't have to use the winder on the side. Now, how would this work? If you took this right here, because the second hand is always clicking, right? Right? It's always moving. And so therefore, if you're always in the wind mode, the second hand will never stop. Technically, this watch will never stop running ever. There's no battery. There's nothing electronic about it. So if you made a large version of this, Michael, you made a large version of this self-winding mechanism, and you made it 3 feet in diameter, right? And now what is powering the second hand here? That little pole comes out and attaches to a generator, and now the generator is spinning, and the mechanism is always turning. You now have energy cranked into your house, free for life, and that's it. There is no magical physics, Tesla, 0 point sucking energy out of the void of space, right? There isn't any of that. There isn't any crazy, is it outputting more than more energy is coming in, and you're dealing with electronics and no, you're not. It's very, very simple. You crank it. It turns the generator, and it could run for 2-3 days at a time, and you never even have to touch it. Free, 100% free energy coming into your house. And if every house on the planet had one of these, there would be no electrical plants. They wouldn't exist, right? And it is a very simple thing. Man, it sounds like you're at Monte Carlo. What was that? That was cool.
Me?
Yeah, there was a motorcycle or something went by.
There was a motorcycle.
Yeah, it sounded cool. Sounded IndyCar-ish. So anyway, and it's a technology that has existed in Switzerland, right, for a couple of hundred years. Automatic watches, and the energy is in the spring steel. That's it. Right? That's it. The spring steel is wound up, and it's because it's tight, it's wanting to release, and that energy then turns gears and then runs the watch. Make a big version of that, hook it up to a generator outside of your house. Every 3 days you walk outside, crank it up, and you could even have wind self-wind it, right? You could have wind power winding the watch. And it would be the end of everything. I'm serious. I've got the technology. I'm holding it in my hand right now. And I've talked.
There's no shortage of good transitional technologies like that. But the system is rigged for these to fail. We subsidize fossil fuels to such an extent that good temporary transitional solutions like solar can barely compete. And it's just... It just comes back to, this unfathomable monopoly that the energy companies, have on our civilization. And it's the same group of folks who own the energy companies, the defense companies, our politicians, our media, the infrastructure over which the internet is broadcast. All of it. It's a handful of good old boys. And, and I got friends who laugh at me. They're like, you're so silly for believing in conspiracies. But, for me, it's you can look up who owns these companies, who owns the banks, who owns all of this, the same group of people. And for me, it's very naive to think that oligarchs will not, move in their own self-interest. And so for me, to dismiss conspiracies is actually a very naive position. But again, that's just how I'm approaching it logically.
I wanted to really quick announce to everybody that, and this just came in a few minutes ago to us here, Peter Chang is going to be doing a live broadcast with Dr. Greer this weekend at Portal 2 Ascension, and we are going to get the links up right now in real time live in Twitter for everybody to go and sign up for this live event over the weekend. Okay, so go ahead and check it out. Here it is. I'm going to retweet this now and get this out for everybody. Dr. Greer. I see I got to type and talk at the same time. Live event this weekend. Boom, done. All right, Peter, we got it out there for you and Dr. Greer. And boom, and there you go. Okay, got that out there. And everybody just click on it right there on Twitter. We'll get it up on our Facebook page too as well. And you can go and check out Dr. Greer. If you sign up to the live stream, you'll have forever replay access, which means that you can replay the presentation as many times as possible forever, which is kind of like free energy, right? So there you go. So if you're busy, you have plans or whatever, you can go back and watch it later. But there it is. We put the live stream up. For you, when it comes to like this technology, I know it sounds really stupid and simple, when I bring this analogy out of a watch, right? But it's one of the funny things when I want to say this right. The patent office will not even entertain the idea of a free energy device, right? That's it. You bring that to them, they don't listen to you. And one of the things that watch companies will tell you about an automatic watch, and what it is that you never have to wind it. It doesn't have a battery. It will run forever if you just wear it on your wrist, and it's mechanical. Right, Michael? It's mechanical. There's no magic here. And that advertising's out there, right? That's what they advertise. And if this works, then why wouldn't it work on a bigger scale and just use it to power your house? Problem solved.
Well, I've got to play devil's advocate. And then look, I'm not an engineer. I'm a filmmaker. I'm not a scientist. But I'll play devil's advocate and I'll pose the question: what energy does it require to make that watch mechanism?
Right.
Again, pulling the raw materials out of the ground, shipping them,
right.
Processing it, forging the metals, assembling it.
One-time cost.
At what point does it become more expensive to create your free energy watch device than the energy it's putting out? I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. The best case scenario, obviously, is endless, clean, free energy, and it's not this pie in the sky thing. It should be it should be the minimum that we are demanding, because we've been sitting on these systems for 100 years, and so we should accept nothing less. That's in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. And when I was a kid. And why we are not here at this point today is beyond me. Elon Musk is doing his best. But when I was a kid, when solar power was first talked about in 1970, or where I was old enough to understand what solar power was, and I thought to myself then, and I'm 7 years old, why not make a car out of solar panels? Why not make a plane out of solar panels? Why not make everything out of solar panels? Everything should just be solar paneled. Everything, ships, planes, cars, trucks, everything should be a solar panel. It should be made out of it. and then we would be done, right? And here we are today. Now it's 2017. We certainly have the technology to do just that. There's flexible solar panels everywhere now. And we don't do it. We just don't do it. It doesn't make sense.
Well, the solar panels that are getting, 100 times more efficiency than the best solar panels that Elon Musk has on the market, the ones that would just blow those out of the water, they were slapped with national security orders a long time ago. It's not just the zero-point energy devices. It's anything that's going to cut too far into the bottom line of the fossil fuel monopoly. So, and I've been very critical of Elon Musk in the past, and I've warmed up to him, and I see what he's doing, and I think it's very good. But I do get frustrated with people who sit back and get complacent, and they say, well, I don't have to worry about these issues because Elon Musk is on the case. And, Tesla is a beautiful car, but we're still plugging it into a coal-powered grid. Solar has so much potential, and I love what he's doing with the roof panels. I think it's incredible. But again, we're still stuck in this linear delivery system where we're sending energy through a grid. It's still centralized, and I can't even imagine, even as somebody who's been steeped in this 0-point energy mythology for a couple years now, I can't even imagine what our civilization is going to look like when every village, every neighborhood on Earth is completely dependent. When you decentralize power, you can have local manufacturing, local agriculture, completely independent of any big corporation or utility or government. It's really about getting our sovereignty back, and I'm very excited about that. And I don't think it's a naive utopian sort of vision of the world. I think it's extremely realistic. And there's no excuse for it not already being a reality. So I will accept absolutely nothing less than full disclosure of 0-point energy. And I'm very optimistic that we will see it not just within our lifetimes, but very quickly.
Well,
within 10 years.
Sure. And this is the thing. And we've done this before. This is not a new project or endeavor. We've done this before, which is this. If we really wanted to install solar on every house on the planet, on every building on the planet, wind, wave technology, if we really wanted to do it, we would be able to solve the economic issues too. Everybody would be put to work. Everybody would have a job. There would be manufacturing coming out of the yin-yang. There would be all of that just fun in the sun stuff. The economy would just get the kickstart. More houses built, more of it would be that kind of thing. But we don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. If I was president of the world, that's what I would do, man. I would rebuild everything. I would rebuild it all, and everybody would be employed. There would be money. There would be economic flow. There would be all the agriculture would kick into gear. We would build new schools and education and money and jobs, but nobody wants to do it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense when you realize that the people who are in a position to make that happen were bought and paid for a long time ago.
Yeah, and so they would sit, if you and I were sitting there, right, at the board meeting of the Illuminati, right, and we're sitting in that crazy dark room where these guys are like, yeah, right, and we propose this, and we could fix everything in 10 years on the entire planet, everything done, let's go. They would go, no, right, no. And that's exactly how it would play out. It would interfere with their money. It would interfere with the military-industrial complex. Obviously, oil, until oil runs out of the ground and there's nothing left, They're gonna run that horse until it dies, and they have no interest in the 5 billion people on this planet that are suffering. They don't even care.
No, they get off on it. You're dealing with people who are deeply sociopathic and who get off on death and destruction. Many of them, and then you have others. And this is just my understanding of it. Majestic 12, whatever you want to call this committee that's been sitting on this stuff. It's not, a perfectly harmonious, unified group all moving together with a single agenda. It's deeply fractured, and you have competing agendas, including some people who recognize that this should all come out, that we should disclose ETs, that we should disclose the technologies, and we should move to this new civilization. But they don't want to take on that burden. Dr. Greer talks about, these guys, they say, yeah, we should bring it out, but I want to retire and go fishing. All right. So, and those are the good guys. Then you have the ones who are full-blown Satanists and get off on death and destruction. And then you have the hardcore religious fanatics who are hell-bent on starting an interplanetary war with ETs, so that Jesus can come back and we can, and have the rapture or the apocalypse or whatever. So you have some really messed up ideologies who are controlling this issue, and it's a recipe for complete chaos and death and destruction. And we. I believe that we cannot wait for these guys to do it. We have to wake each other up and, hopefully meet that critical threshold where enough people, are not even just demanding this, but just from a consciousness perspective. I believe that if you have enough people who are aware of this and are anticipating this new paradigm, that we can collectively manifest that. And I actually believe that disclosure and bringing out free energy is actually physically impossible until we, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who started transcendental meditation, he said you need 1% of the population to believe something before it can become true. And I believe that's the case with this stuff. I think just reaching a certain level of awareness will be enough to change the consensus reality that we're living in and manifest the reality that we should be living in, this new civilization. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And we're going to pick up on that when we come back. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola, director of the film Unacknowledged. When we come back, I want to talk about some three-letter agencies. I want to talk about the Men in Black. I want to talk about threats. What has he experienced? We'll find out next. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Michael Mazzola. Great conversation. We're talking about free energy, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea. Just go right now. Click on the banners for Life Change Tea over on our website, and it'll take you straight to getthetea.com. The best. Just go to the specials page, pick some stuff out, and just mention Jimmy when you order, either online or over the phone, and you're going to get yourself some free shipping. Now, Michael, I'm holding up to the bunker cam. These are a bunch. I just went over. I have some watches here in the bunker. Here's another one. See, that's an automatic watch. See, that's what you look for. That's an automatic watch. See that? See how it works, everybody? That's an automatic watch. These are automatic. You never wind them. You don't have to. No batteries. This runs forever. Put this technology in your house. That's it. Think about that for a second. Man, we should contact some investors. Get this engineered, gear it up, make a big version of this, and get it out there to the world. I've talked about this a lot over the years, and it just seems so simple to me. Okay, Michael, Men in Black. Men in Black. Yes. Now you are deep. Okay, before we get to the Men in Black, Dr. Greer, whenever he's in public, he's got the armed guards with him, right? They're wearing the hero body cams, right? They're videotaping, and they are standing around. It's for real. This is not made up stuff. Wearing the bulletproof, there they are. Does he really need that?
Absolutely. It's no joke. He's had 3 members of his team assassinated. I was actually I spent a weekend with him when I first met him and was getting to know him and discussing the film. I went out to Palm Springs for an event, and he was doing one of his seminars. And afterwards, a woman came up to us, and she said that her husband was on an assassination team that was sent to kill him, and they were basically. I've got to be careful with what I say, but there was an intervention right before it could happen because there are security measures in place. But the point is that he is constantly under threat. I think maybe a little bit less so now. And again, he hasn't said this, and I really can't speak with any authority, but I personally expected more interference than we got on this film. And there definitely was harassment. There was interference. I did have a hard drive get stolen out of the mail. I have been followed.
Well, you've been followed?
I've been followed. I was with some friends, and they noticed it, and it wasn't the first time that it happened. But and then there were some other things that I don't want to talk about in public, no offense, but some pretty frightening experiences. But, you know... Wait.
Yeah. When you were followed, what happened? How did you know you were... Nothing
happened. We were just being followed, and we would notice the
car?
You know... Well,
SUV?
When I was alone, it was a car. But when I was with some friends traveling, there was a guy who was clearly ex-military who seemed to be paying very close attention. And you could always dismiss it as paranoia, but when it's happening over and over again, but Jimmy, my big fear was that the powers that be would not let the film come out. There was so much sabotage with Sirius. Now, obviously, Sirius came out, and millions of people have seen it, but they sabotaged it in other ways. For example, they came out and said, well, the little Atacama humanoid, that little baby ET that they did the DNA testing on in the film. They said, well, it's been thoroughly debunked as human. And the guy who did the Gary Nolan, who did the DNA testing at Stanford University, the head of genetic research over there, he was sort of forced to stop talking about it and allow them to run with this narrative. Oh, it's just a deformed human or a deformed monkey baby or whatever, which it absolutely is not. But we didn't get that kind of interference on Unacknowledged, and it makes me think that there's some kind that the seas have changed in our favor, and that we're being allowed to do this on some level. And by that I mean not that I'm secretly working for the CIA,
right,
and putting out some kind of false disclosure narrative. That's not what I mean.
Right.
What I mean is that they understand that they can't hold this back anymore.
Right.
That we've already passed a tipping point.
Right.
And so it's better to let the civilian efforts sort of do the work that they should have done a long time ago. Again, that's just my interpretation of the situation.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in really quick.
Yeah.
At the premiere, there were a couple. Maybe I can go to the number few. Very, very suspicious-looking people that were running around in the background.
Absolutely.
And a couple of them came up to me and were asking some ridiculous questions and made me feel, and Rita too, uncomfortable. Right, where I knew, right, these were agents. I absolutely, there was no question about it, and I called them out, right? And when I did that, they disappeared. It was the trippiest thing. Did you see this going on? Because I did.
I actually didn't, and it's because I was an emotional wreck.
You were being Hollywood. Yeah, you were being Hollywood. Okay.
It was my first big premiere. I was so nervous. I was having a complete panic attack. I had a bottle of wine at dinner before I showed up. And I spent the entire film pacing in front of the theater, chain smoking, praying that people would like the movie.
Right.
So I was pretty much oblivious to my surroundings.
Yeah, I was with you. You were talking some pretty ridiculous stuff, actually. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I was that incoherent, but I was scared to death. It was my first time being in the spotlight to any degree, and I was just praying that people would like the film. But I'll tell you, you are probably the 10th or 12th person to tell me about these guys.
Right.
So and again, it's business as usual when you're dealing with this stuff. And, anyone who thinks that Dr. Greer is just having a blast doing this and is just, doing this for the fun of it is seriously kidding themselves. And that's something that I think people need to understand about Serious Disclosure and him and the Disclosure Project and this group, is that this isn't it's not a vanity project, and it's not about building a brand. It's not about gaining notoriety. He took this on out of a sense of duty, and actually the biggest surprise for me signing on and working with him is to discover that he was dragged kicking and screaming into this. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but this was sort of a burden that he took on reluctantly when he realized that, what a constitutional crisis this was. He was as you know the story. He was just a doctor. He was doing the CE5 thing. He was teaching people how to make peaceful contact. He was running CSETI, trying to train people to be ambassadors. And he was getting knocks on the door. Hey, so-and-so at the DIA wants a briefing. So-and-so at the CIA wants a briefing. Then it got to, James Woolsey, the CIA director, the Clintons. And that's when he realized that the people who he had always assumed would have a grip on this absolutely didn't. And he couldn't believe that they were coming to him. And, I love reading the bad reviews of the film, and people, you got some people who roll their eyes and then say, oh, please, like the CIA director needs some doctor to brief them. What a joke. Give me a break. But the truth is that this is so compartmentalized and unacknowledged and out of control, and the chain of command has been so broken. But yet, yes, these people in a position of power were going to this doctor because he had a better grip on this than they did. And it's such a, it's terrifying once you accept that it's that out of control. So, yeah, I don't know how I got this far off track, but to come back to what you asked me, yes, the security is necessary, and this isn't fun. This was being done out of a sense of duty. And for me, personally, it was less of a sense of duty and more that I was just trying to, for me, it takes something like this to hold my attention. So I was never worried about being in danger. I'm just trying to not be bored. And this is what it takes.
So you're saying that I shouldn't stand too close to him in public? All right. Yeah, fair enough.
Actually, he's got protection. So,
well, he's got arms.
Which I can't talk about, but let's just say he's not too worried anymore, and neither should you.
So I wanted to talk about Adam Curry.
Yes.
Adam has been running around behind the scenes. We talk, as you know, we've done this together, but he's running around behind the scenes, and I think a lot of people have seen him, but they don't know anything about him. They don't know who he is, and he has not come out into the limelight just yet. As you know, I've been encouraging him to get off the pot here, and let's start to move forward. Who is Adam Curry?
Well, Adam is my best friend, and he is one of the most humble, sweet guys I've ever met. And he's an absolute genius, and everyone is going to know his name very soon. I actually met him at the Sirius premiere at the after party, and it was a meeting that changed my life because when I found out what he was working on, I actually left my job in film development. I was a development executive in Hollywood. And I quit shortly after meeting him just to volunteer with what he's been working on. He was an intern at the Princeton Pear Lab. It stands for Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Lab, which was founded by a guy named Bob John. Bob John created the whole field of plasma physics. So we've got this whole generation of spacecraft flying around because of him. And at the Pear Lab, they were studying this unexplained influence of our minds, our conscious intention, on the behavior of quantum level phenomenon. And what they found in thousands of experiments, and it's the research that's been continued at the Institute of Noetic Science, is that you have this random behavior of quantum phenomenon that becomes ordered when you introduce a human with an intention. And so no one really understands what this interconnection is, what the mechanism is that allows our minds to influence physical reality. But the implication is that there is this deeper interconnection between our consciousness and the physical world around us. And we know enough about it that we can start harnessing this to create some really cool new technology. And that's what Adam is doing. And, when I first met Adam, he explained to me that, this research has been around for a long time. There have been documentaries made on it, dozens and dozens of papers published in peer-reviewed journals, and yet it's still considered pseudoscience by the materialist scientific establishment. And his idea was that what's going to bring this into the mainstream is not another research paper and not another documentary, even though we are going to make a documentary. That's the next project. But it's going to be useful technology that's fun and exciting and inspiring. And that's going to be making it immediately relevant to people so that they could be having these magical experiences and see the impact of their thoughts and intentions right in the palm of their hands on their smartphones, and also experience synchronicities. So when he explained this to me, this was just like the most incredible thing ever. And so I've been working with him ever since and trying to help him get this off the ground. And I know when we ran into you at Contact in the Desert, you made the joke. You said, "Oh, let me guess, Adam, next month." Right. And it's a little bittersweet because we have been trying to get this out for so long, and we've set deadlines for ourselves that we're a little bit past.
Going back to the technology, I had said to Adam, I think you were even there. I said to Adam, when we are on the very edge of Silicon Valley, software designers that are now talking about qubits and quantum mechanics and otherworld and parallel, and living in the matrix, they are definitely on board with this because their technology now is actually dealing with non-local technology, quantum mechanics, other worlds theory, and parallel worlds. This is what they're dealing with right now in Silicon Valley. And his technology, if this shows people that this actually can occur, and the software is in your smartphone and it is in your hand, and we're dealing with synchronicities and stuff down on the atomic level, then it starts to get into proving quantum theory and some of these science fiction subjects as a reality. And that's got to be exciting technology. And he's very humble about it. Right? I wouldn't really
He's extremely humble about it, and that's why I have to follow him around and brag about how brilliant he is. The guy has an asteroid named after him for one of his inventions that he created as a teenager. But you would never guess it talking to him because he's so soft-spoken and humble. And that's what I love about Adam. I'm working now with a lot of brilliant engineers, and I've tried to work with a lot more. And what you see over and over again are guys who know how brilliant they are and don't know their own limitations and don't know how to build a business around their technology, but they think they should be, the CEO, the COO, the CTO, and everything in between. And Adam is different in that he's not an egomaniac. and he actually is a pretty damn brilliant businessman and knows how to bring this to market. So I'm very fortunate to get to know him, and we're all very fortunate that this technology is in his hands, because it means that it's actually going to reach the market. And so it's very, very exciting, and we're planning some very cool experiments, but I don't want to speak out of turn here. I really want him to be the one to announce this and talk about it, because it's his technology. And I'll let him come on and explain it. But it's going to be, in my opinion, the thing that's going to really push this into the mainstream. The role that I'm taking right now is I'm developing a film about him and this technology, and exploring these mysteries of consciousness and synchronicity. And we're calling it The Elephant, because consciousness is the elephant in the room that is still unacknowledged. So that's in development right now, and we're still courting the right partners for it and the right distributor. But we're figuring that out, and it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, here we are again. It's been 2 months since I last saw Adam, and when I cracked my last joke that I say every time I'm around him, okay, Adam, 2 more months, right? And I cracked the joke, and here we are. It's been 2 months later when he said to me, yeah, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about 2 months. That was 2 months ago. When is he going to be on the show?
2 months.
Oh. Oh man, I know that, and he's like, Jimmy, I'll show it to you right now. I realize it. You guys are right on the edge. But this kind of stuff, we really need it. Our community needs something like this that we can hold and we can use and we can enjoy, but also show the rest of the world that this is going on here. This is what our community is doing.
Absolutely. And again, making it fun and interactive and engaging. Most people aren't going to sit down and read an academic paper explaining how all of this works. So what we're honing right now is the user experience, and I think you're going to be very pleased with the outcome. People always say, "Well, how does the app read my mind? How does it know what I'm thinking?" And this is such a misconception. And I'd like to just nip it in the bud right now. Adam's technology does not read anybody's mind. All that it does is it's holding a mirror up to what we're already doing all the time, which is affecting the world around us with our thoughts and intentions and beliefs. And we're just giving you feedback on that. It's like a thermometer for mind matter interaction.
And do you guys have a website up?
We do. It's entangled.org. We will be revamping it and making it a little sexier, but you've got all the info on there for the flagship product. And we've got some other amazing, absolutely astounding products that will be coming out shortly after the app that's on our website. But I can't talk about that yet, but I'll just say that what's on our website is just the beginning of what's to come. It's going to be really exciting.
Okay, I'm posting it up right now in Twitter, everybody. It's very simple. Entangled.org. There it is, done.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to get on the waiting list for the for beta, and you'll get to be one of the first ones to download it.
Now, what's going on before we depart here? And I want to thank you for coming on tonight. Just an absolute wonderful conversation. The distribution for Unacknowledged, will it ever go into the theaters?
Probably not. We do have some groups who have rented out theaters and have screened it for their community, and it did so well that they did it a second or a third time. But no, we're not looking at any theatrical distribution. I'm under NDA, but it's in the coming months. It's going to be it's going to be more and more accessible, is all that I will say. But I encourage everyone to go out and rent it. All of the proceeds goes to the New Earth Energy Incubator that Dr. Greer is setting up, which is, trying to set up this this network of laboratories to develop the zero-point energy technology. So no one's getting rich off of this. We really want to put our money where our mouth is and get the tech out there.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I'm only assuming that because of your relationship now in Hollywood with the Orchard, that there are other projects that you are working on, and as they go into development and release, we'll talk about it right here on the show. And, of course, we'll get Adam Curry on here as soon as possible. Thank you so much, my friend.
Jimmy, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure, man.
And I'm glad you got a haircut, but I'm sorry that you're not wearing my hat anymore.
I'll still wear the hat, but, man, that hat was really helpful with my train wreck hair. It fixed everything.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, man, we're at the end here. Really quick. You went to Skull and Bones. I posted the picture of you standing out in front of Skull and Bones with the Fade to Black hat. How did you pull that off? And did anybody come up and say anything to you? Did you see anybody go in and out? Did you see George Bush?
I was at Yale with Adam for a conference. It was the Society for Scientific Exploration, mostly looking at the kinds of stuff that Entangled is premised upon, that research. And we found the building and we just posed in front of it. Unfortunately, the doors were locked and we couldn't go inside. But I got to say, it is one of the creepiest buildings. You can just feel the negative energy of that place. And so I couldn't resist. I haven't been without my Fade to Black hat since you gave it to me. I've never been a hat guy, but I put it on because you gave it to me, and I wanted to be nice. And then I never took it off because it looked so good. I
was getting tired. It's like, dude, man, every time I see you, but there you go. Hey, Michael, thank you so much, man. Great conversation tonight. Say hello to Adam for me, and then we'll get you guys on here on the show next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy. You're the best. Have a great night.
Right back at you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Michael Mazzola, everybody. Entangled.org. We've got the website up in Twitter, and we'll get it out there to everybody. Entangled.org. And I cannot wait to finally get Adam Curry on the show. Michael Mazzola, bright guy. There you go, the director of Unacknowledged. I'll be right back.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter, but listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Great conversation with Michael Mazzola. Expected that, though. That's a smart young man. Very talented. Hated NYU. The elitists. Love it. Great conversation, Michael. Thank you so much and for those insights. And now I'm going to open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695, because I want to talk about Gaia's new video report that they've released on the mummy. And have you seen it? Give me a call, 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. It is certainly shaking up our community. I would say that the overall take, because the video itself and what you see in it is so compelling, and it's an object. It's not. It's something physical. This isn't a piece of film. This isn't a videotape. This isn't a slide. This isn't anything like that. We are talking about an actual mummy that apparently has 3 digits on 3 fingers, 3 toes that are very, very long. You can see them in the CAT scans. You can see it up on the screen when they do that little piece with the doctor, too, as well. Pretty amazing. And the mummy itself, I've had this brought up a few times. When I first saw it, I thought it was like a plaster cast, and I did originally think, too, as well. I was thinking 3D printing. I swear that popped into my head, and we're going to address that. But the white powder, okay, I've gotten a little more information over the last 24 hours from some questions that were presented at me, and I went in and did some investigation. So, questioned a few people. And so I wanted to touch upon that a little bit. So, again, if you've seen the video, give me a call, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I do want to know your thoughts. You know, what did you think when you first saw it? The responses that I have gotten have been overwhelmingly positive, and they are positive because you see what you see. That's it. You see what you see in this, and And the fact that this isn't, a video of lights in the sky or cities in the sky over Beijing or what have you, that's not the case here. We're talking about an actual a physical being that is here. That puts a whole nother spin on all of this. This is a different situation. This is not obviously the alien autopsy film or the Roswell slides. This is something physical. But I wanted to touch upon a couple of things. Number one, I was sent let me go with the number 10, a round number. 10 emails that was talking about the fact that this is not a mummy because the organs are intact. And then there were some reports out there that the cultures in Peru would take the organs out, clean them, and put them back into the body. Okay? That's why the organs, in this case, let's address this now. These organs were not removed. The organs are intact. The body was not cut apart. The organs are in their original position. How they haven't decomposed or how the body didn't blow up, that's one of the reasons why you do remove the organs, and they figured that out a long time ago in Egypt. Again, I'm going to address this directly, that they had to take the organs out and stuffing in the body or what have you, and because if you left the organs in, it would blow up, right? It would decompose and right. So that's that. And what they would do over in Egypt is they would put the organs after they took them out and clean. They would put those in jars. The jars would sit next to the sarcophagus, and that's where the organs sat. Okay, this mummy, the organs are intact. They're intact. They were not removed. So why go outside of the normal way of doing mummification in Peru, of taking the organs out and returning them back into the body? This was not done. And how come the body didn't just explode? That's pretty interesting to me. And for it to survive. The white powder that's on the outside of this mummy that is there is part of their mummification process and drying it out correctly. Also very interesting. Underneath that white powder is the gray skin. The skin is gray because it has aged, right? It has decomposed. But the skin is intact. Also very interesting. The other interesting part of this is there are no ears, right? Very strange. You can see the holes for the ears for listening, but the ears themselves are not there. There's something else that's interesting. The lips are intact, and they're big. When you look at mummies from not only Peru, but from Egypt, the lips are very thin, and they retract, and you can see teeth and so forth. All right, let me grab a phone call here really quick. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Marty from Chatsworth.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing good, Marty. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I saw the video. It was really interesting, but I have to say the jury is out until we get the DNA results.
That's right.
Although I have to say it's pretty compelling. I saw the CAT scan.
Yep.
The skeleton, you could see it. But do you know when the results are going to come in from the DNA, or do they already know? They're kind of holding out on that.
Yeah, no, they are not. So we're going to address some of this directly because I don't want to speak for Gaia or the people over at Gaia. Yeah. But Jay Widener from Gaia he's the senior content of development of content over at Gaia, and he's going to be on with me on Coast on Friday night to talk about this. So we're going to get some questions answered,
right on.
But then Jay will be with us for a full show on Monday on Fade to Black. So we're going to do 2 hours with Jay. I have been cleared with Ask Me Anything That You Want. Okay, so
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Now
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to say that I agree with you that the video
and
is.
I also agree with what you said earlier that a lot of rides on this one. So it's not like the Roswell slide. I've been going over the older podcast from 2015, and that was a huge fiasco. And so there's a lot of rides on this. What was going on with so many people are really looking at the video. And they're kind of, they're going to be judging our community, our UFO community, based on how the results come out of that, this whole thing, this whole project.
Yep.
Where did they find this? Who found it? It didn't really say in the video. Where was it? Where did this come from? All of a sudden it's here. Where did this money come from?
Well, Nazca, okay, and that's why it's called Nazca Unearthed. So there you go. I mean, that I can speak about. I know that the team itself went to Cusco. And so if you look at a map and you see where Cusco is and you look where Nazca is, it came from that area. The exact pinpoint, I think that they would want to keep some of that under wraps because people would go down there and start digging holes in the ground. And
okay, makes sense. That's true.
I mean, at least for the time being, I think that's the way that things should play out. I know if I was involved, that's how I would do it. You wouldn't want to cause a bunch of trouble for yourself because the government's going to go, dude, we trusted you with this.
They might pull their permits and stuff.
Yeah, their support of it. Now, the other thing is, I don't want this mummy to magically disappear. I don't want to have something nutty happen here. It needs to proceed with the right funding, which Gaia is promising. They're going to dump all the money into this. They want to have this accurate, and they don't want to have the same mistakes that were done in the past. And let's be honest, man, Marty, is this if this goes south, reputations are completely damaged. So
I know, I agree. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest with you.
Well, we all are, because if this is what it is,
I know. I really hope it turns out to be what it really is. I mean, the missing ears, the shape of the head, the eye, there's just the shape around the eye socket. And the fingers. Forget everything else. I mean, the head and the legs. That is something else. That is just unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, the feet and the bone structure and the hands and the feet really, really, really trips me out.
That's something else. I know. That's really something. It's the first thing you notice, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I hear you say, or somebody said that it's been recorded in paintings or petroglyphs where they've had three-fingered creatures before.
Yeah, it's
I haven't actually seen it, but I've heard of that being documented somewhere on walls and caves and paintings and things like that.
Yes. All of that is it's been out there for a long time. We've talked about and we've heard stories about three-fingered aliens. I mean, that goes back. That goes back forever. And could this be why there's always where there's smoke, there's fire, right? You have urban legends and you have all of this stuff and it gets repeated over time, but this stuff is always based on something, right? It's always based on something. Now, could this be it? I mean, really, could this be it? And if it is, let's say if it is it, then we are looking at, and I'm being serious about this, we are looking at years of study before anybody is going to come out and say definitively that this is alien and off-world. It'll be a long time before that happens because it has to be proven beyond any doubt at all. But certainly...
That's true. But even if you prove it, though, I would think that certain people, like say Michael Schrimmer, certain people will always come up with an excuse why it isn't what it is. They're going to say maybe, even if you show them the DNA results that it's not human, they will still say this is not alien.
Yes.
Now, if you're dealing with skeptics, maybe it'll take a generation or two. Maybe certain people, a certain generation of the current skeptics and the classical scientists, they need to retire, disappear, and then the new generation needs to come in. Hopefully the millennials, the kids who are coming up nowadays, maybe they'll be more open-minded to it, you know?
Yeah, you sound like a millennial, by the way. Let me say this. Actually,
I'm a little bit, I'm older. No,
you
I'm
sound
older, but I think like a millennial. But I'm in my late 40s.
Okay, well, I'll say this. When it comes to Shermer or the debunkers and, all of those websites that are going to be out there to tear this apart, I invite that. I encourage that. We need the collective mind together to try to figure this out. But that being said, the Shermers out there are going to say, okay, here's the body, but what else have you got? This is not enough. I'm going to say, I'm going to.
I agree.
I need to say this. To the audience, you need to understand, I have been told about some other things that are coming into play here. Some of it is so fantastical and so out there that if it plays out like this mummy plays out, if it actually comes to pass, then it's case closed. I'm telling you, it is that fantastical. It's that crazy. I mean, imagine, and I'm not suggesting this, but just imagine if they found like a laser gun next to this thing, right? It's something like that. I'm not saying it's some technical device. No, it is not. But it is that far out of a suggestion. Okay, it is that crazy. Wow. So if this plays out,
tell us, Jimmy. Tell us. You know something.
I do, and this is what I said to them. I said, look, this is even too much for me to suggest. I'm not even going to go there, and so I just can't. I can't. It's too much for my mind to wrap around. It's crazy talk, absolute crazy talk. Wow. And so more on this, and this is what I've been promised. That over the coming weeks, some more and more information is going to be slowly let out. Too much at one time is too much. It's just way too much to deal with. But it is going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. We'll be doing it on the show. We're going to do some stuff Friday night on Coast, and then Monday night on Fade to Black. I think that some other stuff is going to surface. And it's going to be exciting, and we are right in the middle of it. I'm telling you, my head is spinning.
I know. I'm looking forward to hearing all that stuff come out. It's something. This is the biggest thing since I can't remember when.
Yeah, ever.
It's huge.
Ken just tweeted in. It sounds like you're in your garage.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm on a headset. Is that all right?
No, that's okay, man.
You don't sound too good on my end either, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
It's a bad connection. Yeah, it's a bad connection.
No, you sound fine, man. I'm just messing with you. Thank you for the phone call, Marty. And
all right, thanks.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you tomorrow night. There you go, Marty from the Valley here. That's really cool. Right here in the Valley, a neighbor. Yeah, no Billy Meyer ray guns, please. No, I'm not suggesting that. What I am saying, if you take that kind of idea, that kind of mindset right there, something that extreme, something that there's some other stuff going on. I'm just saying. I'm looking at some posts that have been going on in Twitter and also over in the chat rooms about some of the speculation and some of the rumors that are out there. You guys aren't even close. And you think what you are typing right now is pretty crazy stuff. I'm watching it. You're not even in the ballpark. It is way out there. Way out there. I'm serious. That was my only response today, too. You know what, man? This is too much for me to handle right now. This is too much. So there you go. And the video is pretty fun to watch. It's like I said, it's eye candy. It's wonderful. It's cool. It really, really, really is. It's possible how somebody could put together a skeleton, get it covered, make it look old, make it appear to be, the carbon dating. All of that is possible. You can have really old debris and organic material inserted and layered on, and it'll carbon date it, 2000 BC, 1000 BC, 0, 200, whatever. You can do all of that. I get that. There are guys out there that probably have that kind of talent. Get some kind of cadaver, get the skeleton, put it in that position, and layer it and do all of this. It's possible. Make a 3-fingered hand and toes and somehow pull all of that off and fool doctors and CAT scans. I guess it is possible. Okay? And if that is the case, there's a talented dude out there that needs a real job. That's the truth. Okay. The Spreaker chat is pretty way out there. Yeah, man. So there ain't nothing. Twitter is cool and all. You guys do your thing. But that Spreaker chat room, you guys. All right. Oh, man. I can't wait for tomorrow night. I'll have some more information. I've got some other stuff, and I'll see what I can disclose tomorrow night. We will continue this amazing discussion of this video that was released yesterday by Gaia. All right. Some of the news that you know nothing about. All right. Are you ready? I wanted to say this really quick, going back to the video. There's something else, about putting these mummies in these positions for burial and mummification, right? Sitting with the knees folded up to the chest and the arms across. How dead is the body? When is rigor mortis kicking in here, right? Because it looks to me that these fingers are folded around the arms. So is that the way that this was done in the past? That these other mummies? I want to see evidence of that, because I don't see that. I see this mummy looks to me like it sat down in this position. That's me. That lack of an opposable thumb. Yeah. Somebody's been watching really good funny movies. What movie was that from? The lack of an opposable thumb. I can't remember. I quote it all the time. All right. So, but that seated position to me feels like that body was limp. It seemed like it was alive. I don't know. It's just the way that it hits me. Okay, here we go. The supervolcano under Yellowstone National Park has once again become the focal point because scientists now have picked up some pretty heavy, ominous earthquake activity this month. Scientists from the University of Utah, responsible for monitoring the supervolcano in Wyoming, said a swarm of, now check this, 464 earthquakes began on June 12th. Today is the 21st, the biggest being a 4.5 magnitude on June 15th. Now, the 4.5 magnitude quake is the largest to hit since a 4.8 quake struck in March of 2014. Scientists noted that the energetic sequence of earthquakes included approximately 30 earthquakes of a magnitude 2 and higher, 4 earthquakes of a magnitude 3 or higher, including today's magnitude 4.5 event. This is the highest number of earthquakes at Yellowstone within a single week in the past 5 years. But it is still fewer than the weekly counts that were during the swarms of 2002, 2004, 2008, and 2010. But look at the sequence of numbers. Isn't that interesting? All even. Very interesting. Is it getting ready to blow? Let me tell you something. If Yellowstone goes, we all go. I'm not being I'm telling you right now, that is a nuclear winter, real deal, crazy event if it actually does happen. Now, although I don't deal with politics on this show, one of the things I have talked about a lot in the past that I have contemplated and thought about going back to the mid-'80s, which is, why are we manufacturing outside of the United States? Why are we doing this? It doesn't make sense. We don't manufacture anything here anymore. We really don't. Everything is imported. Ford announced today that beginning in 2019, in about a year and a half, American Focus models, the Ford Focus, will be imported from China. That's right. With additional variants coming from Europe later. The car manufacturer estimates that by ending production of the Focus in the United States and moving it to China, the Ford Motor Company will save $1 billion. And then there was this icing on the cake. Ford's president of global operations, his name is Joe Hinrich, said, and I'm quoting here, consumers care a lot more about the quality and the value than they do about the sourcing location, end quote. And that's a big pile of BS. What happened? I thought that this was not supposed to happen, and especially from Ford. And I'm a Mustang guy. All right. It's about to happen. It's going to happen tomorrow. The launch of the stratospheric balloon carrying a fast food chicken sandwich to the edge of space. Well, it's been delayed until tomorrow, Thursday, June 22nd. That's right. The sandwich's 4-day flight is a promotional stunt for Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it will also serve as a valuable test for Worldview Enterprises, the company developing high-altitude balloons for applications ranging from weather monitoring, of course, to launching flat earthers into space so they can see the globe with their very own round eyeballs. This is the first long-duration flight of the company's Stratolite balloon vehicle. And that concludes another edition of Fade to Black. I want to thank Michael Mazzola. Sorry, I gotta hit buttons and talk at the same time. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Kamarian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady by Dale, Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldrich. Intro Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication, KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Tomorrow night, Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.